Hello and welcome to Film Companion South. In this episode of FC Recco, it's time for a non-Indian film. Usually, I recommend films that you can watch online or download as torrents. But this time, given that Cannes has just gotten over, I thought we'd talk about Bong Joon-ho's Parasite, which won the highest award at Cannes, the Palme d'Or. The holy grail of a festival film, or rather any film, is that it manages to be a bunch of things. One, it ticks all the important boxes. That is, it is by an auteur or a director is considered an auteur. It is about something important. It's very well made. It's very well directed. And two, it also manages, above all these things, it also manages to be a hell of an entertaining ride. Bong Joon-ho is a South Korean filmmaker. In case you haven't seen his work, you should check it out. He's one of those filmmakers who manages his balance beautifully every single time. Well, maybe not every single time, depending on your reaction to Okja, which I found a little message heavy. I loved parts of it, but there were certain parts that kind of didn't sit well. But look at the other work that he's racked up. The Host, Snowpiercer, Memories of a Murder, and now Parasite, which makes fantastic points about the class divide without ever crossing the divide between education, that is message mongering, and entertainment. The film speaks to everyone who's felt a twinge about having a meal at an upscale restaurant which costs about what the waiter's salary would be. One should certainly be aware of one's privilege, but you should not or don't have to apologize for the accident of being born into privilege. But then what do you do about the underprivileged, or at least those little less privileged than you, who are watching you silently, always? How do you prevent them from wanting to cause you harm? Parasite centers on a family of four. There's a father and mother, and there is a teenage son and daughter. The fact that they're impoverished is signaled by their basement house, which kind of overlooks exactly at the point of the street where people vomit and pee. The story gets going when the son fakes it and gets a fake degree and gets a job as the tutor in the house of a very rich man. Before going any further, a word about the rich here. You know, they're not like you might find it in Indian film. They are not immediately the villains because they are the other. They are kind, they are caring, they are clueless, they are naive. If there's any fault with them, it's probably the fact that they are so cocooned off that they're cut off from real life, that even the smells of the subway assault them. But the thing is, even if they comment about these things that annoy them, they do that out of the earshot of the people who carry those smells. So the rich people are not the villains. Where's the problem then? Where's the conflict? Well, as a line in the film goes, if you had the money, you'd be nice too. Sometimes just having it all is your fault. It's enough to make you guilty, a villain in the eyes of someone who does not have it all. The marvel of the screenplay is how it makes us sympathize with the son of this impoverished family who slowly manages to get the other members of this family into the rich house doing various jobs. While it's expected that you empathize with the protagonist of any film, it's a particular point of note in Parasite because these guys are the villains. This impoverished family, they are the villains. They are the schemers. They are out to hoodwink the rich people. So for a while, Parasite unfolds like a revolving door farce about the class divide until we get to the point where we realize that the poor can screw over not the rich, but even those who are poorer than them. In other words, on the one side you have the poor and rich divide. On the other side you have the divide between the poor and those who are poorer than them. I realize I'm being a little vague, but you're really better off watching this movie, this very fiendish film, without any preconceived notions about the various details of the plot. And yes, despite the very, very horrible things that they do, we still never stop rooting for the protagonists. There's a heartbreaking moment where you really feel for the father. He's been enjoying this house when his employers are away, he and his family, and they start imagining themselves as rich, because you have the run of the house, you have access to everything that these rich people have, you have that whole big house to yourself. So you start thinking that you are rich, but then the employer comes back, and while these guys are hiding in various places, he makes a remark about how this father, the chauffeur, who's now a chauffeur, he carries a bad smell. That one remark is enough to bring him crashing back to earth. You can act rich, but you can never really be rich unless you're born into it. Slowly the laughs stop, the carnage begins, and the mood of the movie changes, and I think at the end, you will change your opinion about what a festival film is. Parasite is a sensationally effective take on the class divide. I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed watching it. I want you to enjoy it too. Hopefully it'll come near you legally on a DVD or on a streaming platform. So keep watching Film Companion South till it does. See you soon in the next episode of FC Recco.